Good morning, student. Welcome to the second lecture of unit number 3. In the previous lecture, we have seen some basic fundamental concepts of an executing an instruction. We have discussed about how instruction is executed one by one. After that, we have also discussed about the internal organization of a processor. So internally, how the instructions are executed and how we perform some arithmetic and logical operations inside the processor. And after that, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about how to fetch a word from memory and how to write a word in memory. Okay, so I hope in the previous lecture you understand about how the processor executes an instruction, how we can transfer data from one register to another register, and how to perform arithmetic and logical instruction. So we have seen a single bus processor, a single internal processor bus organization. So this diagram we will use in today's lecture also. So this is the single bus organization. In this diagram, there is one program counter which is connected to the internal bus of processor. After that, we have some registers, that is MAR and MDR. Now this MAR has one output line and one input line. Its output line is connected to external memory bus and its input line is connected to processor bus. Then MDR has two two input lines and two output lines. So MDR output lines are also connected to the memory bus and its input lines are connected to the processor bus. After that, we have some general purpose registers, that is R0 to RN minus 1, which we are going to use in our program execution. Now, along with these general purpose registers, we have three temporary registers, that is register Y, register temp, and register Z. Now, we have one multiplexer which has two inputs. Multiplexer has choice. So either multiplexer can take input from this constant port by using this select control signal, that means select port, or either multiplexer can take input from Y temporary register. Okay, by using again this select control signal, that means select Y. So when this select is set to Y, that means multiplexer will take input from Y, and when this select is set to 4, that means this multiplexer will take input from this constant 4, and the output of multiplexer is given as one of the input of arithmetic and logical unit, and another input to this ALU block is from the processor bus, and the result is stored in temporary register Z, which will be loaded onto the processor internal bus. Okay, so this is about the internal organization of processor that we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Now let's see how to fetch a word from memory. Okay, so to fetch a word of information from the memory, first the processor has to specify the address of the memory location where this information is stored. Okay, and after that processor will request a read operation. So this applies whether information to be fetched represents an instruction in a program or an operand specified by an instruction. It means that, for example, you have an instruction like add a comma b. So somewhere in your memory location, this instruction is stored. So first processor has to specify the address of memory location where that instruction is stored. Okay. So somewhere that instruction is stored in your memory. Now along with this instruction, the value of A and value of B is also stored somewhere in your memory. So after fetching an instruction, processor also has to fetch the memory address of operand A and memory address of operand B, and that's why it says that this fetching applies whether information that processor has to fetch represent an instruction, that means add A comma B, or an operand specified by an instruction like A and B. So sometimes processor has to fetch instructions, sometimes processor has to fetch operands, okay, from particular memory location. Then the processor transfer that required address to the MAR. Okay, now we know that, for example, our instruction is at a comma b. Now PC is pointing to this instruction at a comma b. Now fetch that instruction from the memory location. The contents of PC are loaded into the MAR, that is memory address register. Okay, so processor transfer that required address from program counter to memory address register, whose output is connected to the address lines of the memory bus. Now look here. The output lines of MAR are connected to the memory bus. So when processor transfers the address from program counter to the MAR, and now the MAR output is connected to the address lines of the memory bus. The output of MAR is connected to the address lines of the memory bus. Then at the same time, the processor uses the control lines of the memory bus to indicate that read operation is needed. Now to perform read operation, we have this instruction decoder and control logic which generate number of control signals. So that control signals are required to perform a specific operation. So when processor has to read data, processor use these control lines of the memory bus. Then when the requested data are received from the memory, they are stored in register MDR. So we have loaded the address from program counter into the MAR. Now this MAR is connected to the address lines of memory bus. Now here we are performing read operation by using some control signals, and after completion of this read operation, we are going to put data into the MDR. Now here is your memory. So MAR fetch the data from memory and loaded it into the MDR memory data register by using these data lines. Okay, and from here they can transfer to other registers in the processor. Now once your data is loaded into the MDR, we can transfer it to other registers by using this internal processor bus. Okay, so this is how we fetch a word from memory. Now the connections for register. Now let's see the connections of register MDR. So now this MDR has two input lines and two output lines. Okay, so first MDR in and MDR out. This is not clearly visible, but this is MDR in and this is MDR out, which is connected to the processor bus. Okay, that means your MDR is bidirectional. It has two input lines and two output lines. So here MDR in and MDR out are connected to the internal processor bus, and here again MDR in and MDR out. These two input and output lines are bidirectional. Okay, so MDR in and MDR out is connected to the internal processor bus, and it controls the connection of the internal bus. And MDR in E and MDR out E stands for external memory bus, and that's why it is called as MDR in capital E, MDR out capital E. So MDR out external, MDR in external. Okay, so these two control signals control the connection to the external memory bus, as these two lines, input and output lines, are connected to your external memory bus. Okay. So during memory read and write operations, the timing of internal processor operations must be coordinated with the response of address device on the memory bus. It depends upon the what type of storing device, memory device you are going to use. So the reading and write operation speed, it depends upon the storage device. So the processor completes one internal data transfer in one clock, and the speed of operation of the address device is varies with the devices. For example, you are using some secondary storage device, so we have seen memory hierarchy. Registers are more faster than main memory, then cache memories are faster than main memory. And these all memories are faster than secondary storage devices, optical devices, and flash devices. So the speed of read and write operation, it depends upon the what type of storage device you are going to use. So typically cache is the smallest and fastest memory device. So your cache will respond to memory read and write operation in one clock cycle only. But your main memory introduces a delay of several clock cycles. So how it will happen, we will see in detail when we will start the cache memory concept. So to accommodate the variability in response time, in variability of this reading and writing time, the processor wait until it receives an indication that requested read operation has been completed. Now in the first unit, we are seeing that after completion of read operation, there is a one control signal, that is memory function completed, MFC. After completion of read operation, your memory will generate one control signal, MFC equals to 1. So when this control signal MFC is equals to 1, your data will be put onto the data lines. Okay, when your reading is complete and your data is put on the data lines, your memory will set this MFC signal to 1, and now processor will get to know that memory reading operation is completed, and now we can get that data into the MDR. So to accommodate this variability in response time, processor wait until it receives the MFC function completed signal. So the address device get this signal to 1 to indicate that contents of the specific location has been read and are available on the data lines of the memory bus. So as an example of read operation, let's consider move R1 comma R2. Now here we have to load the contents of R1 to the R2. Okay, so what are the actions needed to execute this instruction? First, we have to load the address of R1 to MAR. Now currently PC is pointing to this instruction, move R1 comma R2. Now we have to move the contents of R1 to the register R2. So first the address of R1 is loaded into the MAR, memory address register. Then by using this MAR, we start a read operation on the memory bus. Now once read operation is completed, processor will wait for the MFC response from the memory. So once read operation is completed, memory will set that MFC signal to 1. So your memory will set that MFC signal to 1. And when this MFC signal is equals to 1, it means that now processor can load the data from data lines into the MDR. Okay. So after completion of read operation, your data is available on the data lines and MFC signal is equals to 1. Now processor can load that data from data lines into the MDR. Now your memory data register has data. Now we have to transfer that data into the R2. Okay, so here we are transferring the data from MDR to R1. Now what we have done here, for example, your register R1 contains data 3. We have load the address of R1 into the MAR. By using MAR, read operation is completed. Once read operation is completed, this 3 is available on the data lines and this MFC is set to 1. After that, your processor will get that data, will get that 3 from data lines and loaded into the MDR register. And from the MDR register, we have transferred it into the register R2. Now the contents of R2 will be 3. So this is how the fetching a word from memory has been done, or this is how the reading a data from memory has been done. Now after that, let's see how writing a word into memory location has been done. So in the similar way, as here we have performed fetching a word from memory, writing a word into memory location follows a similar procedure. That means the desired address is first loaded into the MAR register, then data to be written are loaded into MDR, and after that write command is issued. So hence executing instruction move are let's consider we have to transfer now data from R1 to R2 requires this same sequence like first load the address into the MAR, then write data to that particular memory location. Now let's see how to execute a complete instruction. So for example, instruction is add R3 comma R1. That means this instruction will add the contents of memory location pointed to by the register R3 to register R1. Now we have to add the contents of R3 with the contents of register R1 and load the result into R1. Okay, now perform addition of R3 plus R1 and output is again stored into the R1. Okay, so let's see the sequence. First, fetch the instruction. First, processor has to fetch the instruction. After fetching instruction, somewhere in the memory, somewhere in the processor, these two registers are stored, R3 and R1. So fetch first operand. Now here your R3 and R1 both are working as an operand. So after fetching first instruction, fetch the first operand. That means the contents of memory location pointed to by the R3. Now here we are using brackets. That means your R3 will work as an address to some memory location. So now fetch the first operand and the contents of the memory location pointed to by R3. Now after that perform addition. Now R1 is stored in processor. For example, R1 contains value 4. Now this R3 will work as an address. So the address pointed by R3 is holding a value 3. Now we have to perform addition. Now 3 plus 4, 7. So now we have to store the result into R1. So what is the new updated contents of R1? 7. First, the original contents of R1 are 4, and after performing addition and storing result into the R1, the contents of R1 will be updated and it will become 7. So perform the addition and load the result into R1. Now this complete process gives sequence of some control steps required to perform these operations by using single processor bus organization. So let's see, this is the internal processor bus organization and we have to perform addition of R3 plus R1 and storing the result into R1. Now look here, step 1 is PC out, MAR in, read, select 4, add and Z in. So in step 1, the instruction fetch operation is initiated by loading the contents of PC into MAR. Now your PC is pointing to this instruction. Now in step 1, we are loading the contents of PC into the MAR and sending read request to the memory. Okay, that means now we are going to read that data from memory by using MAR. Now the select signal is set to 4, which causes the multiplexer to select constant 4. Now this multiplexer has a select control signal. Now select 4, that means that here your multiplexer is selecting the value constant 4. Now this value is added to the operand at input B. Now the output of a multiplexer is given as an input to arithmetic and logic unit. So your multiplexer is 4. So the first input A will be 4. And now this 4 will be added to the operand at input B, which is the contents of the PC. Now B will be the contents of PC. Now this PC is connected to the internal processor. Now we will see how this will happen. And the result is stored in register Z. So let's consider the here are the contents of PC. Now here addition is performed and result is stored into the temporary register Z. So the updated value is moved from addition is performed, result is stored in Z. So Z in. Then the updated value is moved from register Z back into the PC during step 2. Now Z out. Now what are the updated contents are again loaded back into the PC during the step 2 while waiting for the memory to respond. Now processor is waiting for the memory function completed. Now this is the read operation and now your processor is waiting for the memory function completed control signal. Now in step 3, the word fetch from the memory is loaded into the IR. Now we have completed our read operation. Okay. Now after completion of read operation, in step 3, the word is fetched from the memory and loaded into the IR. So MDR out and IR in. From memory, we fetch data into MDR and from MDR, it is loaded into the IR in. Here is your IR. So step 1 through step 3, this 3-step constitutes instruction fetch phase, which is the same for all instruction. This is the only fetching phase. So the instruction decoding circuit interprets the contents of IR at the beginning of step 4. Now this instruction decoder and control logic circuit decodes your instruction which is loaded into the IR. First, we load the contents from PC into the MAR, then we initiate read operation, select 4, and then add this content with the program counter, and then putting that result into the Z. This completely considered as an instruction fetch phase. Okay, now why we add this 4 with this program counter and stored it in Z? Because let's consider here we are using 16-bit system. That means here your memory is byte addressable. So your PC will be incremented by 4 every time. That's why here we are updating our PC by 4. So once fetching is completed, your PC will be incremented by 4 and it will point to the next instruction. Okay. So here we have completed our reading. And in this step, in step 3, we fetch the data from memory into the MDR, and from MDR, this instruction is loaded into the IR. Now, when your instruction is in IR, this instruction decoder and control logic will decode your instruction, will interpret the contents of IR at the beginning of step 3. And now step 4, and now from step 4, actual addition will perform. So this enables the control circuitry to activate the control signals for step 4 through step 7. Okay, which constitutes execution phase. Now from step 4 to step 7 is your execution phase. Now the contents of register R3 is out and MAR is in. That means the contents of R3 are transferred to the MAR and memory read operation is initiated. Okay, now here memory read operation is initiated. Now the contents of R1 are transferred to, now R1 is out. The contents of R1 are transferred to temporary register Y in step 5 to prepare for addition operation. And the addition operation is performed in step 3. So MDR out. The contents of MDR are getted to the bus and does also to input B of the ALU, and register Y is select as the second input to ALU by using select Y. Now here in the next step we are selecting Y. So here we are using select Y, not constant 4. So let's consider your Y is containing the contents from register R3. For example, the contents of register R3 are 4. So here the input A will be 4 and on this processor bus register R1 holding data 5. For an example, R1 holding data 5. So this is another input to this arithmetic and logic unit, that is 5. Now what is the addition of 4 plus 5? 9. And this 9 will stored in a temporary register Z, because MDR out select Y, perform addition operation, and now Z in is select to 1. That means this 9 is given as an input to this temporary register Z. Then Z out, R1 in, and completion of execution of instruction. Now Z out, that means these 9 are loaded onto this processor bus. Now here is your R1. The previous contents of R1 are 5, but after performing addition, we have to store the result is in R1. So this 9 is loaded into this R1. So R1 is in. So R1 input signal is set to 1. That means this 9 is loaded into the R1. Now what is the content of R1? Is 9. So this is how we perform addition by using single processor bus organization. Okay.